Platt Amendment of 1903, whereas the Congress of the United States of America, by an act approved March 2, 1901, provided as follows: provided further, that in fulfillment of the declaration contained in the joint resolution approved April 20, 1898, entitled "For the Recognition of the Independence of the People of Cuba," demanding that the government of Spain relinquish its authority and government in the island of Cuba, and withdraw its land and naval forces from Cuba and Cuban waters, and directing the President of the United States to use the land and naval forces of the United States to carry these resolutions into effect. The President is hereby authorized to leave the government and control of the island of Cuba to its people so soon as a government shall have been established in said island under a constitution which, either as a part thereof or in an ordinance appended thereto, shall define the future relations of the United States with Cuba substantially as follows: 1. That the government of Cuba shall never enter into any treaty or other compact with any foreign power or powers which will impair or tend to impair the independence of Cuba, nor in any manner authorize or permit any foreign power or powers to obtain by colonization, or for military or naval purposes, or otherwise, lodgment in or control over any portion of said island. 2. That said government shall not assume or contract any public debt, to pay the interest upon which, and to make reasonable sinking fund provision, for the ultimate discharge of which, the ordinary revenues of the island, after defraying the current expenses of government, shall be inadequate. 3. That the government of Cuba consents that the United States may exercise the right to intervene for the preservation of Cuban independence, the maintenance of a government adequate for the protection of life, property, and individual liberty, and for discharging the obligations with respect to Cuba imposed by the Treaty of Paris on the United States, now to be assumed and undertaken by the government of Cuba. 4. That all acts of the United States in Cuba during its military occupancy thereof are ratified and validated, and all lawful rights acquired thereunder shall be maintained and protected. 5. That the government of Cuba will execute, and as far as necessary extend, the plans already devised, or other plans, to be mutually agreed upon, for the sanitation of the cities of the island, to the end that a recurrence of epidemic and infectious diseases may be prevented, thereby assuring protection to the people and commerce of Cuba, as well as to the commerce of the southern ports of the United States and the people residing therein. 6. That the Isle of Pines shall be omitted from the proposed constitutional boundaries of Cuba, the title thereto being left to future adjustment by treaty. 7. That to enable the United States to maintain the independence of Cuba and to protect the people thereof, as well as for its own defense, the government of Cuba will sell or lease to the United States lands necessary for coaling or naval stations at certain specified points to be agreed upon with the President of the United States. 8. That by way of further assurance the government of Cuba will embody the foregoing provisions in a permanent treaty with the United States,